Hey y'all, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Piper Jasmine, and today I'm coming with you guys with another medical school Amcas application video. I think you guys really like those videos, so I'm glad because I was definitely clueless applying to med school, especially if you're applying this upcoming cycle. I didn't even know the primary application was a thing until May 1st. But somehow I managed and I made it through, so I'm gonna help you manage and make it through. So today I'm gonna be sharing with you guys all the work and activities that I did throughout my undergrad and high school career to help prepare me into getting into medical school. And at the end of the video, I'm going to give y'all some tips and tricks on how to find such opportunities. So if you guys are interested, make sure that you keep on watching and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and to subscribe. Okay, so just for some background info, I am a fourth-year student at the University of Georgia studying health promotion with an emphasis in behavioral medicine. And I submitted my primary application in July. I talked about it in my last video, y'all. I submitted it either late June or early July. I definitely did not submit my primary application on May 1st. I know a lot of people, they do prepare for that May 1st date because May 1st is typically when the portal opens, and that's when you can input everything and submit your application. You do not have to wait to have your letter of recommendations to submit your primary application. You can go ahead and submit, and the letters will go to the schools as they come in. Another piece of advice that I have really quick before we delve into my application is to don't submit your primary until you are ready to submit your primary. I think it's very easy to get caught up in what everyone else is doing and kind of comparing your timeline with other people's timelines. You want to take your time to craft an excellent primary application. So don't rush yourself, don't rush your work and activity section. Literally just try to craft the world's most perfect application. You guys like my shirt? It's UGA homecoming shirt. I think this was 2021. Well, this is just so strange, y'all. I just got into med school and I remember I knew nothing about the primary application around this time. I was so focused on my Amcas. I was like, what? I don't think I found out when the portal opened until April, late April. I had no idea. Y'all, I got super duper tan from spring break. That's what this is. My tan has not faded from spring break, and I don't know why. I mean, I'm not wearing foundation today, so I just vibe. That's my thing, just vibe. I'm gonna put the screen recording, my laptop right here. So the work and activity section, this is how I thought about doing mine. I think that I submitted my personal statement first. I already have my personal statement written, and I really wanted to make sure that I did not include things that I wanted to put in my work and activities in my personal statement, because that would just be kind of redundant. So in my personal statement, I tried to put in things that I didn't really want to write much about or wasn't exactly that meaningful for me. For example, I had a phlebotomy job, but I only worked it for about 3 months, so I didn't really want to make that its whole section in work and activities because I only worked for 3 months. So it fit better in my personal statement. But things that were more meaningful and had a very lasting impact on me, I put in my work and activities. And you're allowed up to 15 entries for work and activities. So yeah, so one of my my first one was my involvement in Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. For each work and activity, you have to list your start, your end, how many hours anticipated start, and provide some contact information. Yeah, I really just had to guesstimate the hours. Obviously being in a sorority, I don't clock in and clock out whenever I have a chapter meeting or a program. And then I kind of just talked a little bit about the sorority, what has been done, what have I done, and any leadership that I might have gained from it, which is being the co-chair of the physical and mental health committee, Delta Sigma Theta. But love my sorority. I believe you get 3 meaningful experiences, so you want to really choose wisely what you want your meaningful experiences to be, because you have a chance to write more about them and let yourself shine more through them. So next is my Piedmont Athens Regional Volunteer Emergency Department. Yeah, this could have gone in my personal statement, for example, because I only got 9 hours. I was online, so that was never gonna work out. So once again, contact information, and I discussed what I saw there. It was volunteering, so observed patient care, receptionist duties. I assisted with direct patient care. One thing that I tried to do a lot with my work and activities is tie in my meaningful experiences with the core competencies. And let me pull up the core competencies. The core competencies for entering medical students, so service orientation, social skills, cultural competence, teamwork, oral communication, ethical responsibility to self and others, reliability and dependability, resilience and adaptability, capacity for improvement, critical thinking, quantitative reasoning, scientific inquiry, written communication, living systems, and human behavior. I talked a little about this in my last video too, but you know, because your work and activities, it's another section for them to get to know you as like they're reading your application, and it's just another section for you to sell yourself a little more. So I always try to make sure that when I wrote about my meaningful experiences or my work and activities, that it tied into one of these core competencies. So then I put in the Georgia Academy of Family Physicians 2021 annual CME, family medicine. So I did this program this summer going into my junior year with Foothills AHEC, and I was able to complete 80 hours of shadowing and 100 hours of community-based research. And so my research poster board was a finalist for the Georgia Academy of Family Physicians 2021 annual CME Family Medicine Conference. And so that's what this working activity is for, presentation and poster. I did about 100 hours, so I said I completed 100 hours. I talked about the publication of it, the title, who I worked with, taught me flexibility and dedication, how the finding expanded my knowledge in the healthcare system. I actually got asked about this a lot in my interviews, so that's another thing that I would say as well. Don't like BS anything, like don't lie about anything, be honest about what you're writing, because there is a very high chance that you're going to be asked about some of these working activities in your interview, and if you didn't actually do anything, like you're just gonna look stuck in your interviews, and it probably just won't be the best of looks. So really try to maintain some honesty and integrity. So next I wrote about my volunteer with extra special people. I volunteered from like September 21 to April, 36 hours. So I explained what it meant to be a buddy at ESP, which is for individuals with disabilities. I worked with them in music therapy and life skills. I was able to practice reliability, dependability, and adaptability. And then I actually listed this as one of my most meaningful experiences, and for this I decided to kind of stick to a individual story about the experience. The experience taught me a lot about, you know, recognizing people who often are overlooked and making sure that they're okay, like caring about those marginalized groups that society doesn't pay much attention to, you know. Then I listed my research assistant experiences. One of this, I research applied HIV and global health or mental health programs for incarcerated youth in West Africa through the College of Public Health at the University of Georgia. Talked about, you know, my contributions to great literature, new analysis, and how it may be involved for a grant for the NIH. Enrich my learning in many subjects such as psychology and sociology. That kind of goes back to you know, the human behavior competency. My next research assistant position was with the Sexual Reproductive Parent and Child Health. Through the College of Public Health, I researched crisis pregnancy centers and used a standardized protocol, you know, to add them to the CPC map data. That was a very interesting project. I could go on and on about it, to be honest. Let's see. Then I talked about the Foothills AHEC Pathway to Medical School program itself. So the first time I just talked about the conference that my research was able to go to, but this work and activity, I listed the program itself. So actually for this, I listed all of the physicians that I shadowed. For me, it was a lot easier to do it that way since I got all of my shadowing like through the program. A lot easier just to like list it under that one thing. So and I talked about how it was a meaningful experience for me. I was able to shadow in internal medicine, pediatrics, family medicine, and gynecology. It really showed me the importance of primary care, and a lot of schools that I were applying to were very heavy on primary care. So I really wanted to exemplify how my work and activities have shown my interest in primary care. And once again, I kind of talked about one instance that stuck with me, and this was when I shadowed in pediatric. And once again, when I shadowed, all of this was all in like rural areas, so one of these patients didn't have insurance, or you know, yeah, and it was just in a very rural area. So I don't even know what I'm trying to say, like I can't even get it out properly, but I talked about one instance that happened when I was shadowing in pediatric about really just observing how those who are living in rural areas, they lack access to, like, you know, the care that you may receive in a large large metropolitan area. So I kind of talked about the importance of me seeing that and seeing how there are a lot of counties in Georgia there are physician shortages. So just like exemplifying that I've been able to see things like that. And I talked about my time volunteering at the Athens area homeless shelter. It wasn't a lot, it was 4 hours, but you know, still is better than something. That was the same summer that I did the program, so I didn't really have time. Anyways, I talked about what I did volunteering at the homeless shelter and how I also brought them a meal once and what a great time it was to really help people in need. Athens County, which is, I attend the University of Georgia, and that's where Athens is. Athens is a very poor county, so it was really nice to do something for the people here. Then I mentioned my role as a community services assistant at the University of Georgia. So I've been a CSA for like 3 years now. Contact info, I tell them what I do. I assist with administrative tasks on the dorms, check-ins, check-out, keys. My role involves multitasking. It's allowed me to expand upon my social skills as I meet and develop relationships with residents and work collaboratively. Is that a core competency? Teamwork and social skills. So, you know, and I think like it's very good to show that your work and activities is a mix of what you like to do. I don't think they want to see everything that's just medically related. You know, like what else do you do outside of medicine? So I mentioned my recognition in becoming a youth mental health first aider. Excuse me. UGA, for your freshman year, they require you to take like an Odyssey course, which is just one like a random 1 credit hour course. I chose mine in youth mental health, and I was able to become certified in youth mental first aid. And I talked about the course and how it was valuable. It taught me to identify, understand, and respond to mental health issues in youth. Obtained a 3-year certification, expanded my interest in mental health, and I valued the comfortability of open conversations. And it was a great course. Like I actually really loved that course. So then I mentioned my time as a Georgia Day student ambassador. I did that for about 2 years at UGA. It's an organization that serves minorities and newly admitted students to UGA. I contribute to the programs through networking and special events. I served on current student panels, provided STEM tours, served as an on-campus host for newly admitted students weekend, acted as a UGA football ambassador for all home games. This past year I served as an advisory e-board member, helping improve my skills in program planning, time management, organization, and collaboration. Once again, showing that everything that I do is not related to medicine or healthcare. Then I even went back as far as high school, and that's literally because I didn't have that much stuff to say that I did in college. And I mean, I feel like that I like was still overextending myself. Like I have about a 3.8 GPA. I was taking OChem, physics, all of that. But you know, I think that just goes to show that you don't have to do every single thing on your campus. I was involved, but you know, I wasn't like orientation leader. I wasn't on student government association. I wasn't in like 50 gazillion clubs, even though I was in more clubs. But like if I didn't really, for example, I'm in girls in healthcare, minority student science association, and I think like one other club, but I literally just pay the dues. Like I don't really go to it. I'm not an e-board for it, so it's kind of like I'm not gonna fluff anything. Like if I have other things that might be more contributable, is that even a word, that may go better with my application. So that's why I went back to high school, just to kind of show that I'm starting early on. And like I said, I didn't really have anything worth better than this that I've done in college. So I mentioned my shadowing my senior year of high school. I shadowed a pediatrician in Lithonia, Georgia. You know, that's a primarily Black African-American population. Got a first-hand look at a health provider providing compassionate care to minorities. Tied it back into myself and what I want to do in medicine. And I think I did 20 hours of that in high school. And then I also participated in the American Stroke Association pilot program. At least that's what my teacher said it was. Did that in 2018, around 8 hours in high school. It was through the Piedmont Henry Hospital. So you had to go out in the community and teach members about stroke, so like the signs and symptoms and what to do. And you know, you had to get their signatures, get it signed. So I did that. You had to give a presentation. I think I got a certificate somewhere. And so lastly, I talked about my people-to-people student ambassador. I did this when I was like 13, and folks still eat this up to this day. So in 2014, I did a program through the People-to-People International Travel Program, and it aimed to create international understanding. And I went to Switzerland, Liechtenstein, Germany, Austria, Belgium, the Netherlands, France, and England. I had opportunities like meeting with a former prime minister, attending a play in the West End, and we did service orientation in Germany where we like planted trees trees and clean up the forest, and cultural competence by honoring the fallen at Normandy Beach. My social skills evolved through a 3-day homestay in Frankfurt, Germany. To be honest, I think this whole like description ate, if you ask me. Like, I really think it did. And so I did talk about how it was a meaningful experience. My dad passed a couple months before, and I really wasn't sure if I still wanted to go, but it was great. I talked about more about what I did, like playing soccer with Dutch students, making traditional cheese in Austria, walking in Anne Frank's house in Amsterdam, and talked about my homestay. So it was great. This was actually like asked a lot too in my interviews. Like, they always ask me about the countries and my homestay and all of that. And yeah, that's how I did it. And those are all of my work and activities for going to medical school. So if you guys enjoyed, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and to like and subscribe. And I'm gonna do a cars walkthrough like really soon, you guys. I still got you.